have two substitutes. Get started yet. Right. You're going to need, I need your minute secretary. Let me make a copy. Ready. I got it. Oh, you good. So I'm gonna have to, all I have to do is reboot. Or whatever you call it. I tried not to.
Ready?
I tried not to.
We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Mobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, will you please stand at this time as we are led in prayer by Rabbi Osterklein. Immediately following our prayer, I'm going to ask if we can be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Milkovich.
O Holy One of blessing, we thank you for giving us rain when we need it and sunshine when we need it. On the Jewish calendar, we are currently in the period of the 3 weeks, a time of mourning for significant destruction and baseless hatred. Let us learn from these lessons to respect different points of view, to make room at the table for those different than us, and to embrace dignity for all human beings. Let us understand that out of seeming destruction can come beauty, can come joy. Our tradition teaches in Psalm 118, the stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. What may be discarded by one may be a treasure for another. Let us see and know God's treasure and God's delight. Let the hot days of summer emblazon our hearts to do your will, O God, and may we not be hot-headed. Praised is God who hears our prayers as we say together, Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Clerk will read the minutes from our previously held meeting.
Minutes from July 15, 2019. Council convened a regular session at 7 p.m. with President Somerville in the chair. All members were present. Minutes of the previous regular meeting were approved, 12-0. Mr. Neal abstained. Reading of petitions and communications, passage of the consent agenda, report of standing and special committees, passage and referral of new ordinances and resolution, representation from various departments and divisions, public speaking period, no further business on a motion by Fusco. Council adjourned at 7:51 p.m. to reconvene in regular session on July 22nd, 2019, or special call.
Any corrections or additions? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it, and one abstention.
Okay.
Letters, petitions, and communications.
Correspondence from Councilman Neal regarding the Brookings report and a racial equity policy.
File.
Notice, return showing services of notice of special assessments for off-street parking facilities in the Kenmore Business District and the Canton Road Business District per Resolution 158, 2019.
File.
Executive final financial report, second quarter 2019.
File.
Income tax receipts through the end of June 2019.
File. Before you, you have the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Busco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
We do not have any public hearings on tonight, so we will now move into our old business, rules. Councilwoman Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. Under rules number 1, which was read in last week, we are going to ask for time so that the law department can vet that piece. And on number 2, 3, we would like to have time on those also.
Okay. Time will be granted on 1, 2, and 3. Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman. I think we have some substitutions we're going to read in.
Right. Okay, I just want to make sure I got it right. Okay, go ahead. Did you want to say? Okay. This is a substitute offered as an amendment. Ordinance approving the agreements between the Fraternal Order of Police, Akron Lodge 7, Local 1360, Ohio Council 8 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees and Civil Service Personnel Association, Incorporated, bargaining units, and the City of Akron regarding adjustments in the employee compensation, providing for these adjustments in compensation to apply to all employees in the non-bargaining management and unclassified job classes as well, all in furtherance of the mayor's commitment to attract and retain qualified employees and provide appropriate wage increases commensurate with improved employee productivity and efficiency and the changes in the cost of living while economically utilizing tax dollars to provide vital quality services to the citizens of the City of Akron and declare an emergency.
Councilman Freeman?
I'd like to poll the committee to refer this item.
Yes.
Ms. Keith? Aye. Mr. Milkovich? Aye. Mr. Hoke? Aye. Ms. Amobian? The committee's request is this item be referred.
This item will be referred.
Okay, the next item, also substitute offered as an amendment, offered by Mayor Horrigan, ordinance amending and or supplementing ordinance number 11, 2011, and ordinance number 17, 2016, approving the agreements between the Fraternal Order of Police, Akron Lodge 7, Local 1360, Ohio Council 8 of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, and the Civil Service Personnel Association, Incorporated, bargaining units in the City of Akron regarding the changes in the health care benefits, providing for these changes to apply to the health care benefits for all eligible employees in the non-bargaining, management, and unclassified job classes, all in furtherance of the mayor's commitment to attract and retain qualified employees and ensure stable, and productive workforce while implementing policies that save the taxpayer dollars by providing competitive and fair health benefits for eligible employees, authorizing the Director of Finance to fund these benefits and declare an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
I'd like to poll the committee on this item as well, to have this referred. Ms. Keith? Aye. Mr. Milkovich? Aye. Mr. Hoke? Aye. Ms. Amobian? Aye. Committee's requested this item be referred.
This item will be referred. We'll move into planning. Councilman Fusco.
Time on the agenda.
Time will be granted. Public Service, Councilwoman Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. We would also like to have time on these items.
Time will be granted. We will now move into our new legislation.
Item number 1 in rules, resolution urging the Ohio Secretary of State and the Ohio General Assembly to create a process by which independent, nonpartisan voters may vote in a political party's primary without declaring for that party and declare an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee would like this item to be placed on time.
Okay. Time will be granted.
Okay. Item number 2, offered by Councilperson Neal. Ordinance amending and or supplementing Title III Administration, Chapter 30, Mayor and Council, Section 30.11, limits on monetary and in-kind contributions and loans of the Ohio codified ordinances and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith.
Madam President, the committee would like time on this item.
Time will be granted.
Okay, item number 3 and 4 we've already dealt with on the substitutes. So we'll go right into item number 5, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing conditional use. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a grant agreement or agreements with the United Disability Services and declare an emergency.
Councilman Freeman.
Committee's requested this item be placed on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay. Number 5, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to expand Green Lawn Memorial Cemetery at 2696 Romig Road and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco, this item will be referred.
Item number 7, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing conditional use to place an additional monument sign at 985 Gorge Boulevard and declare an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will be referred.
Item number 7, ordinance offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing conditional use to vary the required side yard area to construct a detached garage at 832 Chester Avenue and declare an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will be referred.
Item number 8, offered by Fusco. Ordinance authorizing conditional use to construct a storage building at 560 East Talmadge Avenue and declare an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will also be referred.
Okay. Item number 9, offered by Keith. Ordinance appropriating funds for the resurfacing of certain state routes and minor bridge work to be completed by the Ohio Department of Transportation, authorizing the Director of Public Service to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Ohio Director of Transportation for the resurfacing of certain streets and for certain bridge improvements, requesting the Ohio Department of Transportation to proceed with the project and declare an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith?
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable, and we are asking for suspension of rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Since this has to do with any road work or repairs, we want them done as quickly as possible, so that is why we're requesting suspension of the rules.
Very good. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Sims, Samples, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 10, offered by Keith, ordinance determining to proceed with and levying special assessments for the improvement and maintenance of the off-street parking facilities in the Kenmore Business District and the Canton Road Business District, and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith?
Madam President, the committee's report is favorable, and we are requesting suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
This is nothing out of the ordinary. It's what we have done every year, and so we would just like to move on the special assessment agreement.
Very good. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 11, offered by Keith. Ordinance authorizes the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into an agreement or agreements with Tribe Investment LLC to construct roadway, water, and sewer improvements for the crossings at Ald Farm Development and declare an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith?
The committee would like this to be placed on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, item number 12, offered by Kamer. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and, if awarded, accept and expend a grant administered by the Ohio of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, part of the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs, and declare an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules, please.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thanks. If awarded this grant, this basically would be to support the City of Akron's youth violence prevention plan in our schools.
Okay, thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? The ayes have it. I wanted you to do a roll call because I heard a nay.
Okay. Roll call and final passage. Freeman. Aye. Fusco. Aye. Hoke. Aye. Kamer.
Aye.
Keith. Aye. Kilby. Aye. Milkovich. Aye. Neal. Aye. Amobian. Samples. Aye. Sims. Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky. Okay. Item number 14.
No. 13.
13. Okay. That's what we just did. Okay. Sorry about that. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to apply for and, if awarded, accept and expend funding from the fiscal year Justice Assistance Grant JAG administered through the Office of Criminal Justice Services and of the Ohio Department of Public Safety and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Thank you. Committee's report is to place this item on the consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 14, offered by Samples. It's a resolution opposing and objecting to the renewal application of the Northside Tavern LLC at 956 North Howard Street, Akron, Ohio, 44310 for a Class D2, D2X, D3, and D6 liquor permit, now pending before the Division of Liquor Control and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer.
Thank you. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. I'll yield to the sponsor if she does have any words to add.
Thank you, Councilman Kamer. Just brief, the adverse history of this establishment speaks for itself. And whenever we have acts of violence and loss of life at an establishment that serves alcohol, I think it's imperative that we object to that liquor license. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call on final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item 15, offered by Sims. It's a resolution approving amendments to the Articles of Incorporation of the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District, Incorporated, and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Sims.
The committee's request is for consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, item number 16, offered by Sims. It's an ordinance approving the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District Residential Program Plan, authorizing and approving execution, delivery, and performance of a city residential PACE cooperative agreement with respect to the property assessed clean energy transactions in cooperation with the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District and the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority, authorizing the Toledo-Lucas County Port Authority to approve petitions and plans for public improvements or public services submitted by the owners of real property within the city, requesting that their property be added to the territory of the Akron Summit County Energy Special Improvement District and assess for the cost of such plans on behalf of the council of the city and declare an emergency.
Councilwoman Sims.
Madam President, the committee's request is also for consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, item 17, offered by Sims and Fusco. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee without the formality of publicly advertising for bids to enter into a contract or contracts with submittable for access to submittable.com platform and declaring emergency.
Councilwoman Sims.
Madam President, the committee's request is also for consent.
This item will also be placed on the consent agenda.
That's it.
We will now go to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. If you wish to speak to council during this time, you may approach the podium. We're going to ask that you please sign in, give us your name and your address. You will have 3 minutes to speak to this body. Speakers are reminded that this is an official meeting. Remarks should be kept respectful and germane to council business. Speakers should refrain from making any personal attacks. Anyone who breaches decorum will be ruled out of order and may be removed from council chambers. Is there anyone here in the audience this evening that would like to speak during our public comment period?
Good evening, Madam Chairman, fellow council members. I bring you greeting from Congresswoman Marcia Fudge, and I'm here tonight to extend an invitation to those of you who cover wards in District 11 of the House of Representatives in Ohio to a town meeting that will be on Saturday, August 3rd at 10 a.m. at Cuyahoga Community College. I have flyers for you as well as those who live in your district. If any, we invite you to join us because the Congresswoman does have some important updates that she would like to give to the residents of the 11th Congressional District. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. My name is Michael W. Bradley. You can email me at michaelwbradley@yahoo.com. I didn't even know who I was until I Googled myself, but being that may be. Councilman Swirsky has been at my house. He came with a police officer who didn't give his name. They came in regard to these Glendale stone steps, which are now pretty much demolished and they're not safe. The children in the neighborhood have destroyed them. So on the 13th, I had called the dispatch and was trying to explain to her I'm calling because I saw some children throw a tire down the steps, and I tried to explain to her the council that people have been there, and she got angry and she hung up on me. And I don't appreciate it. Now, I had called earlier that night because there was a woman across the street. I live in a kind of bad neighborhood. She's going, help me, help me, help me. And so I called, and of course it took 45 minutes later for the police to arrive. So I don't know whether they were angry about me calling too many times or what the problem is, but I don't appreciate being hung up on. And then she had the gall 10 minutes later to send a car out, which turned right around, and she called back up and she says, you know what, the police officers didn't see a tire. And I said, yeah, if they would have got their dead ass out of the car, then they would have seen the tire look down the hill. And now, when I was here last before you, I said, please, don't hire from the inside up, hire from the outside and make a clean sweep. And we still have the same situation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Is there anyone else here in the audience that would like to speak during our public comment period?
Good evening. So nobody's really speaking, so I'll speak. But I just wanted to express my excitement over Amazon coming to Akron, and I just want to wish Akron and Amazon well, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Easley.
Hi, my name is Carice Cantlin. I live on Locust Street here in Akron, and I wanted to give a compliment to, Madam President, council members. I've seen many favorable changes in the city recently, from residential housing upgrades to a feeling of security I haven't experienced since I was young. In a few short months, the differences in the level of communication among our council members can take years to accomplish in a more personal life setting. This commendable action will continue to impact the citizens and the city's growth. As the ability to listen and speak with compassion evolves, we can compact the time needed to act as government situations arise, whether business as usual or more pressing city matters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Scanlon, for sharing.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lamar Jordan. I'm a former resident of Akron, Ohio, but my grandma still lives on Marlow in Akron, so I think I'm still a resident. This is my first time to a city council meeting, and I appreciate this opportunity. My aunt told me today that Amazon is coming to Akron and Rolling Acres area. I'm pretty excited about that. One of the things I wanted to ask, it may not have been talked about yet, but will any of the funding that we receive from Amazon go towards developing STEM programs for the youth and people in college. If not, I would hope that that type of conversation does happen, but that's just something I just wanted to put out in the air. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan, for sharing and visiting us. Anyone else wishing to speak during our public comment period?
Good evening, Council. My name is Harrington Hargrove, and I'm going to speak on just a couple of subjects, and that is the Akron Zoo and the city of Akron. From the year 2000 to 2006, the zoo has received $48 million for improvements. I got it wrong last week, I said 2. And then from 2007 to 2019, they received another $22 million for a total of $70 million. And also with that development with the zoo, the city of Akron has spent over $2 million for the zoo in water and sewer payments. I got this from the Beacon Journal. But yet, in Ward 3, that is surrounded by the zoo, the city won't put up any dollars for economic development. And I'm quite sure the zoo is about money because they charge to get in, nonprofit though. And so today I would like to say to council that you have failed the black community for not allocating funding for economic development in Ward 3 under Section 3 of the Community Development Block Grant Funding Program. And I've been asking this body to do something over and over. And so the only resolve I have is I'm in contact with HUD, and they have also talked to someone down here in council in reference to filing a formal complaint against this body for not doing their job when it comes to community development block grant money. In Ward 3, the only part of the city, I believe, that you haven't spent economic development for the minority community. It makes no sense. So that's all I'm asking and saying to this body tonight is that you failed us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hargrove. Anyone else wishing to speak during our public comment period? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public comment period and move into our committee assignments. Rules, Councilwoman Keith. Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman. Planning, Councilman Fusco. Public Service, Councilwoman Keith. Public Utilities, Councilwoman Samples. Public Safety, Councilman Kamer. Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal. Housing, Councilman Kilby. Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian. Economic Development, Councilwoman Sims. Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky. Is there anything else coming before council? Councilman Freeman?
I'm not the oldest person in the room, but I would qualify as a near member. And in my life, I've never seen a time when 1,000+ new jobs are going to come to the city. And obviously, there's an announcement. We've heard from some folks this evening, and this really is a time for Akron and surrounding communities to rejoice. And just want to thank the administration and, well, nobody's really here from economic development tonight. Tell them we said thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman Freeman.
Thank you, Helen.
Councilman Neal.
Yes, Madam Chair. I'd just like to invite the community out to Ward 4 on the 26th and the 27th. After many years of absence, the orchestra and the ballet are coming back to Forest Lodge, and we're excited about that. A lot of things going on throughout the city. Concerts, and is the Taste this weekend too? The Taste is this weekend, so a lot of great activities, but come and get some culture. And come to Ward 4, Forest Lodge, and enjoy the orchestra and the ballet on Thursday and Friday. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. Councilwoman Keith?
Now I have to. If you're going to go to that ward, then don't miss out on Ward H. We have the Art Expo, which is this weekend, which is a juried show, and that is on Saturday and Sunday, but we also have a Taste of Akron on Thursday, and on Friday we have food trucks, and if you buy your tickets for a Taste of Akron on Thursday and you don't use them all, you can use them then for the food trucks the next night, which is new and novel. And then there will also be mimosas on Saturday morning. I don't know if any of you do that kind of stuff, but there'll be mimosas at Hardesty Park prior to, by Keep Akron Beautiful prior to the expo opening up. So there is a lot of great things happening, and I have to thank the woman who came down this evening just to say thank you. I'm going to tell you something, we don't hear that a lot, and it's okay, because we're here to do a job. But what you just did is you made all of us want to do the job even better, because not only did we hear ways we can improve, but we heard a thank you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Councilwoman Keith. Anything else coming before this body? Is there a second? Seeing no objections, we're adjourned.